Currently, I live by myself in a house I inherited after my grandfather passed away. It isn't huge, but it definitely feels like home to me. One of the only things that bothered me was how old the building was, so it wasn't unusual to have problems with electricity or plumbing. It started on a normal rainy night. I was laying on my bed and playing on my phone when I felt a strange sort of dripping on my face. After I wiped my cheek, I noticed it was some sort of clear liquid. When I looked up, I saw that the vent directly on top of my bed was leaking water. It was already pretty late at night, so I decided to just put my phone down and investigate it tomorrow. The whole night, there was something dripping down on my face, almost like it was mocking me. But it's just an old house, I reassured myself. The next morning, I called over my boyfriend to check it out. He unscrewed the vent and used a flashlight to look inside. But in the end, he still found nothing. Even after investigating for hours, he still wasn't sure what the problem was. We tried to rationalize it by saying it was probably because of the rain yesterday. Even though we couldn't figure out the cause, he told me to call him if it happened again. So I sent him away, with an unsettling feeling in the back of my throat. Later that night, it began to rain again. While washing dishes, I felt the familiar dripping on my head. But this time, it was coming from the vent inside the kitchen. Knowing there was something wrong with multiple vents in my house started to worry me. I decided to grab a ladder from the garage to look into the vent, just in case. When I went into the garage, it smelled disgusting, like something died in here a long time ago. That's when I realized where the smell was coming from. The fridge in the back. Normally, I use this fridge to store meat, since the one I had inside wasn't large enough. So I approached the fridge and swiftly opened it. All the meat in there had rotten. When I looked behind the fridge, I saw that the power cord had been unplugged. So the meat had just been sitting in the heat for a while. I had no choice other than to throw all the meat out, but I couldn't help but notice some of them had large chunks missing. Honestly, I couldn't remember whether or not I had cut these chunks off myself for dinner and just forgotten about it, so I assumed it was that. When I got back to the kitchen, a huge puddle had formed under the vent while I was gone. I got a bucket from the closet to gather the rest of the dripping, then jumped as a large lightning bolt struck extremely close. Without a second to spare, the power suddenly went out. Now the room was pitch black, and I was starting to get super scared. Grabbing a landline, I tried to dial my boyfriend. Then I remembered, the power's out. So I tried my cell phone, but it was out of battery. I couldn't charge it either, because none of the electricity was working. I sort of had a fear of driving during thunderstorms, so I went to my room and hid under the covers instead. I felt like a little kid again, hiding from an imaginary monster, even though it was just my house creeping me out. Then, it started again. The dripping from the vent directly above my bed. I peeked out my head a bit to see if I could find anything. What I saw horrified me instead. There were two eyes staring back at me from the little holes in between the vent. In that moment, I finally realized what the dripping was. It was the saliva coming from the monster's mouth, waiting to eat me. It began rattling the small barrier between us, almost like it was trying to break free. It must have had super strength or something, because it didn't take long at all for the vent to fall into my bed. I covered my mouth to keep from screaming, and a long, slimy body made its way out of the vent, crawling towards me. The last thing I saw Was it reaching for me? I just want to say thank you for watching. And my Etsy shop will be open soon, so you can watch out for that. And I'm sorry if I sound weird. I recently got braces and I feel like I have a lisp now. And I hope you have a good day. Happy Valentine's or Lunar New Year or whatever you're celebrating this weekend. Bye.